My sister just gave me one of the stupidest excuses to not bring my child to the wedding. Oh, it's a child-free wedding. Well, I get there and see a bunch of children running around. Guys, I'm gonna tell you why this is happening. Sometimes I wish that my sister was not my sister. I wish that we had been born in different families and have never met. We have not gotten along for years, but we recently reconciled. Just when I thought things were about to get better, they got worse. I knew that my sister was a bit shallow and cared about appearances a lot, but this was too much. The world is changing to be a better place, a more accepting place. It bothers me that she still holds on to these archaic beliefs. With the new role that she's about to take, she'll have to just a smidge of empathy to get by. She's going to be in the public eye a lot, and how she treats people will be very, very important. It's not just about how she treats my son, but how she looks down on certain people. Her poor in-laws do not know what she's getting into. Now, because of her actions, I have to hurt my son's feelings and tell him that he cannot go to her wedding. He's going to see the pictures and hear all about it because this wedding is going to be very big. I try my hardest to not let him miss out on anything that he wants to do. If he finds that something is not for him, then we don't have to do it again. Recently, he had started to get better at being around other kids. In fact, he has a new friend, my cousin's son Ray, who he has a lot in common with. Due to them staying so far away, family gatherings are the only times that they can see each other. Now, I have to either lie to my child or tell him the truth and break his heart. All because of Gloria is ashamed that he is her nephew and refuses to admit it. This all started about 8 months ago when my sister called to tell me that she was getting married. At the age of 24, she's a successful paralegal and is thinking about going to law school. It took her quite a while to get where she's at, but her perseverance is one to admire. We have been close for the past 2 years. We've drifted apart because she picked up with some wild habits and cost me financially. She soon made up for it and got sober, paid me back, and managed to find a guy that I actually approved of. Her fiancé is called Fredrick, but we all call him Freddy. Freddy comes from a noble family. His family is kind of a big deal where we come from. They help out a lot in the community and own various successful businesses in town. While they don't have very important titles, they are the closest thing that we have to royalty in this town. When my sister started dating him, I was absolutely shocked. He was not her usual type, but then again, she had changed and became more responsible within the past few years. When I saw them together, I could tell that it was true love. It became very clear after a while that she was definitely there to stay. He proposed long after, and she started planning this grand wedding. She was the envy of most young women in town, obviously. Getting married into the family meant that she was set for life. As for myself, I was just happy that she had found a stable partner, somebody who could take care of her. My husband and I were invited to a family dinner, along with our parents and some of our family by his family. They wanted to properly get to know us, as we would all be soon a big old family. Before the dinner, my sister asked to talk to me. She asked me not to bring my son Evan, because there would be no kids allowed at the dinner. She said that it was very, very important rule in the family, and it was her responsibility to let me know about it. I understood it and respected it. That was until I attended the dinner, only to find out that she'd been lying. People from the family and hers had brought their kids. Their children had their own table and a room to play in. I didn't say anything, as I did not want to cause a scene. My mother did ask where Evan was, and I made an excuse about him being at a sleepover and not wanting to come. Evan had been so excited to come. Now he was very, very disappointed, but he had to understand that no kids were allowed, which was an utter lie. After dinner, the men went into another room while we ladies had some dessert and chit-chatted. I could not fully participate in the conversation because I was so confused. My sister had always been nice to my son, buying him gifts and even babysitting for a few hours. Why was she acting so weird now? The only thing I could figure out was that my son had to be singled out, and I was not happy about it. I then asked her if we could go for a walk in the garden because I wanted some fresh air. She tried to protest but had no choice when her sister-in-law AITA insisted that she shows me the garden. Well, we walked for a while and made small talk, ignoring the elephant in the room. I waited for her to tell me that there had been a misunderstanding and she was so sorry, but she said nothing. She kept on babbling about her wedding plans and all sorts of irrelevant stuff, and I ended up cutting her off and asking if we were just going to ignore how she basically snubbed my son. She told me that she did not snub my son. She just did not feel like this was a good environment for him. There were lots of other kids and adults. Well, he would not be comfortable. I told her that even though my son was autistic, it did not mean that he could not be around people. As long as I was there and there were some familiar faces, he would be fine. He also really wanted to come because Ray was going to be there. She then told me that her in-laws were not used to kids like him, and she had not had a chance to explain to them how my son was. I said my son was just a kid like any other. He was not some monster that she had to hide from. Why was she treating my son like a secret? She then laughed and asked me if I knew how hard it was to be her. She already did not fit in with the family because she was not a noble blood or rich. In addition, she did not have a particularly impressive career. She said that she had to try twice as hard as anybody else to fit in. So, she did not want my son to be another reason why they thought she was not a good fit. I asked if they did not want to accept her, and she did not reply. I then told her that if they could not accept her, she had to stop trying. She was getting married to their son, not them. She pretty much exploded on me and told me that I didn't get it. I had my perfect husband and did not know how hard it was to find a good man. She told me that maybe I was just jealous and wanted to ruin her life by showing my son to them. She then asked what would happen if he refused to marry her because he thought that she had autistic genes. I was shocked that I asked her what was so bad about having it. Sure, life was different for my son, but he was smart, kind, intelligent, and tried his hardest every damn day. We argued for a very long time, and things were said that were probably better left unsaid. In the end, she told me that if I wanted to attend her wedding, then I could not bring my son. I said fine, I would not bring my son. Maybe it's better for me to attend her wedding and not embarrass her. Imagine this. The day has come when she fears embarrassment. After what she did all those years ago, she now wants to act like Miss Perfect. If I was a bitter person, I would have exposed her past to her in-laws. But I'll take the high road. Yeah, it's her wedding, and she deserves to have it the way that she wants it, I guess. Update number 1, 2 months later. Guys, I've not spoken to my sister in a while since we fought. I've since cooled down a bit. I talked to my husband about it, and he has helped me see things from another point of view. He explained to me that she was probably getting wedding jitters and just wanted everything to be perfect. She loved her nephew but did not know how the family would react to him. So maybe she was just trying to protect him. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt and believe that she was trying to protect him. This afternoon, she invited me for a spa date with her sister-in-law. My husband fetched Devin from school and spent the rest of the day with him. I, on the other hand, switched off my phone at the insistence of the other ladies and relaxed for a while. To be honest, I've not been able to just close my eyes and relax for a bit, ever since we got Evan. I love my son to bits, don't get me wrong, but as he has gotten older and his personality has developed, I have had to do more work. My husband tries to help out, but his job is not that flexible. He works terrible hours due to being security, so while he was here sleeping, he's working, and while he's asleep, we're awake. He tries his hardest to be there for us as a family and has been looking for another job with better hours for a while. It's just been really difficult for us. We had a financial snag for a while when I could not find work. His job offered a lot of benefits and good pay, so he took the job, and I took care of our son. But once Evan was integrated into school, I was able to get back to working. Well, Due to that, I'm constantly tired and my muscles are always stiff. It was so nice to spend time with Gloria. We had some drinks, got pampered, and gossiped. As they talked, I realized that I could not relate at all to most of what they were even saying. I also realized that the sister-in-law was a bit snarky and mean. My sisters seemed to match her energy as well. Through their conversation, I realized that they've been friends long before my sister got engaged to Fredrick. What really bothered me was the way that they treated the people who were messaging us. They asked for too much and got upset at them and snapped. I needed to go back to the bathroom at some point, so I left them for a bit. When I came back, they were crackling about something. They did not notice me behind them, and I managed to catch a snippet of their conversation. Her sister-in-law, AITA, was talking about me. She was asking Gloria how old I was, and she also asked if I was the one with the disabled child. She said that the child looked normal to her. Gloria laughed and said to wait till the child gets into a fit. That's when she'll see how abnormal he really is. It felt like a dagger that went to my heart when I realized that my sister did not like my son. She was just pretending. I then made my presence known and changed the subject. They had no clue that I knew what they said about my son, and a couple of minutes later I told them I had to go and check up on him. I was so upset, to be honest, and she was clearly prejudiced about my own son. It also hurt me that she made a mockery of him in front of people who were strangers. Now, I'm seriously reconsidering going to the wedding. It does not matter if my son is not there. I wonder how many more people know about him and have been laughing about him behind my back. I even wonder if the man who's marrying my sister shares similar views. If that's the case, then I'm going to be losing my sister once again to marriage. It's funny that she wants to be judgmental now that she's going to be of higher class. She needs to be reminded of where she come from. My sister was a high school dropout. She only finished it a year after dropping out after spending that year messing up her life. At the time, we lived in a different home. Well, her behavior was so bad that she caused our father to have high blood pressure. She stole from Mama and me so that she could feed her lifestyle. It was only when she hit rock bottom that she had decided to finish school and go to college. In college, we did not talk due to the things that she did to me. At the time, I did not have time for her, because we had just gotten Evan's diagnosis. Life changed. It was a bit difficult for me as well. My parents were so far away, and I moved to this town. She also moved to our town and has been working here ever since. We decided to make peace and have been trying to maintain it. While her old habits, yes, they're gone, something remains, and that's her selfishness. Her head is growing so bigger every single day. She treats people like they're below her because she's getting married into a really good family. I was even talking to Ray's mother, and she said that she noticed how my sister has been acting. I really hope that she does not fall from her high pedestal. Update number 2. A week later. My sister spent the past 3 days at my house. She's messed up once again, but she's very vague about what she did. She knocked at my door at 3 a.m. in the morning and told me that she needed help. She was not in the right state of mind, her clothes were wet, and she looked like she's been drinking. I got her changed and into bed, and for the next 3 days she did not leave the room. I gave her food, but it remained untouched, and she at least drank some fluids and the electrolytes that I gave her. I heard her speaking to herself when I passed by her room. She kept on saying that she messed up. Meanwhile, I had pretended to be her while she got her crap together and texted her fiancé. This is the first time in 2 years that she's done this to me. I'm too old to be dealing with this, and since I am 10 years old, I've always had to take care of her. She was the baby, allowed to mess up, and I was not. She could get to disappear for days and not come out if she wanted to. I did not have that choice. Maybe I resent her for it. After the 3rd day, she came out. She had a huge appetite and ate everything on sight. Unfortunately, she also ate some of my son's snacks, and I clearly labeled the cupboard, "Do not eat," but she proceeded to. Then he came back from school to find out that she had eaten his snacks, and he got very upset. He then became very silent and would not talk to us for hours. He kept on saying that he wanted his afternoon snacky snack. My husband was not home, and I could not leave him at home with her, so I had to ask multiple people to help me out. Finally, somebody managed to help me out and were able to calm her down. Soon after, she told me that she had some work to do, packed her stuff, and left without cleaning up her room. I asked if we needed to talk or if I needed to get her in contact with a therapist once again. She told me that there's no need. She had just gotten her dress back and it was nothing like she wanted, so now it had to be redone and there was no time. So instead of fixing it, she went on a bender and then disappeared from the world for 3 days. I worry about her sometimes. I hope that she manages to fix herself. I've seen her ruin many relationships because of her destructive behavior. I don't want her to go down that terrible path again. She was doing so well. I wish that there was more I could do for my baby sister. I wish that she could just be kinder to the world and to herself. These feelings have almost made me forget what she said about my baby. Almost, but her words are not fading. Update number 3. A day before the wedding. Tomorrow, my sister's getting married. She's getting married out of town on a beautiful country estate. There's going to be over 300 guests. She said that they wanted to keep it intimate, and she's been over the moon for days now, and all she'll talk about is the wedding. She's also reminded me about 5 times that I am not to bring my son. I'm honestly just going to the wedding so that there's no drama. My husband and I are both fed up with her, and there's always something new. We still don't know what happened weeks ago, and I sure hope that she did not relapse. She seems to still have her head screwed on tight at least. Either way, my husband and I have booked a hotel for the night, and we've brought our son along. Jacob's sister is going to be the one who will take care of him while we're away at the wedding. There is supposed to be a bachelorette this evening, but I'm not sure if I want to attend it or skip it. I will see how I feel as the evening progresses. I'm assuming that the evening will go well, and there will be no nasty surprises. I, however, made a very interesting discovery about my future brother-in-law. I wonder if she knows this about him. This is a huge thing because it might change absolutely everything. It's clear that they have differences in views, and I don't know how she'll feel when she finds out about this. Maybe she knows and still has the same views. Stranger things have happened, and couples do not have always had the same views, but I don't know. Some things are just non-negotiable. My guess is that she knows, but she's hiding how she really feels so that she fits in. My guess is that he does not truly know her, and he's marrying the false image that she's portrayed. It's such a shame, because I was rooting for them. But I know my sister. It'll not take her long to mess this up, and she'll be running back to me. This time, though, I think that the final door will shut. She cannot pick when she wants to be my sister, and when she does not. For instance, she could have gone to Ada's house when she was not feeling well, but she came to my house. In addition to that, she made my son feel very, very comfortable. No, I can't just let this slide. This has been on my mind for too long, and I need to address it. So maybe I'll go to the bachelorette party and talk to her about how I really feel. I don't want this new chapter to start with baggage from the past. Anyways, I'll let you guys know how it goes down. Update number 4. It's now the next day after the bachelorette party and the wedding. The ceremony went well, it was beautiful. She looked absolutely ethereal in her gown, which had finally been altered to perfection. The vows were sweet and made everybody cry. Throughout all this, I was busy humming a certain song about a wedding that got ruined. I kept on humming and humming till my husband had to poke me and remind me that we were in public, so I was mad. No, my sister did not want to talk about everything last night. I was at the bachelorette for 2 hours, and then I went home. I got so mad at her because she was drinking. She knows very well that she had a liver failure scare not long after, but she still wants to drink. This morning when I saw her, she looked like hell, and I had to quickly give her electrolytes and a lot of water just so she could make it down the aisle. AITA also gave her a bit of a drink just so that she could have energy. I could not protest and tell her to give my sister a non-alcoholic drink because the damage had already been done. The wedding, however, went without any hiccups. Nobody objected to the wedding and we all had a great time. Then it was time for the reception. It was in a different part of the estate and that had been beautifully decorated. Before everybody could let loose and start dancing, the MC called for family members to make a speech. I was part of the few family members who got the chance to go on stage and speak about my sister. I got up there and recited the speech I had taken months writing. I had been planning this for oh so long. It was almost surreal that it was happening. I was finally giving my sister away. I talked about all her good qualities, told a few short stories about us, and told him to take care of her. I then said that I had a special gift for her, and her nephew Evan was going to bring it to her. Her mouth opened in disbelief as my son walked up to her and presented her with a gift box. She knocked it from his hands and screamed at him, asking him why he was there. My husband had been prepared for something like this, so he quickly took Evan away. She then stormed up to the stage and pushed me off to the side. She was so angry that she forgot about everybody that was present. She asked if she had not told me 1,000,000 times that she did not want him here. I asked her why she would even do that. He was her nephew. She then said that her wedding was not autistic friendly, and she did not want to tone everything down for him. She also said that he was a burden, and that we should have stayed home with him. I looked at my husband and noticed that he had already put headphones on Evan's ears, so he could not hear what she was saying. AITA then came to the stage and asked me to leave. She told me that I had ruined the wedding and there's no place for me there. I laughed, looked at the guest, and went back to the microphone. I had a few seconds to tell them all that my sister and her sister-in-law were obleased, who had told me to hide my son, who's just 12 years of age and had done nothing wrong in this life. Everybody gasped, and all they started speaking of each other. The next thing I knew, I was being dragged off the stage by some burly security guard. Nobody was doing or saying anything to stop this. I had exposed her, so why were they all on her side? Was it because they agreed with her? Had I been trying to show the wrong people that my son deserved to be included? Maybe she was right, that they would not accept my son, and this has all been for nothing. Just then, a very authoritative voice shouted, "Stop! Let her go." The grip that was on me was loosened. Fredrick told me that I did not have to leave and that my son could also enjoy the reception. In the kids' area, of course, I nodded for my husband to take my son to the area. This was exactly what I've been counting on to happen. This whole performance had not just been to expose my sister, but to prove that her husband was who he said he was. His sister and wife were all staring at him like he had grown a second head. He then went back up to the stage. He said that what most people did not know was that in addition to his business, he also ran a foundation that assisted children with autism and other conditions. He worked behind the scenes and was not in the public eye, however, he was very passionate about his work. When he met my sister, he was drawn to her because of her kindness and how down-to-earth she was. He was blinded by what she showed him that he did not realize when he saw the red flags. He apologized for all that's happened and urged the guests to enjoy the rest of the evening, and then he walked out. AITA and Gloria ran after him, and I did too. I wanted to thank him for standing up for my son like that, and also make sure that he was okay. He had that same look on his face that most guys who have been broken by my sister have. He did not even know the heavier stuff. If he did, he would probably faint. When I got there, he was nowhere to be found, and my sister was on the ground. In front of her, shiny but so small you could barely see it. It was her ring. Update number 5. The last update was cut short, right? Evan needed to know when he was going to see his new friends. See, I've been looking for a school for Evan that's more autistic friendly. That is how I came upon Fredrick's name when I saw the list of directors from the school, and I then snooped around a little more and figured that he was doing such good work for children with autism, ADHD, etc. So that's when I decided to bring my son along and have him present here with the present. I had no intention of exposing her. I just wanted him to enjoy the party. I thought that she would have been so backed up in her corner that she would have no choice but to let him stay. But she had gotten so outraged that she threw a fit and ended her own marriage before it even began. It was the talk of the town for days. He had the marriage annulled the very next day. His whole family shunned her and nobody supported her, not even her so-called best friend AITA. She blocked me because she felt that I ruined her marriage, and my parents supported me. They had no idea that she had been trying to exclude their grandson, and they had not raised her that way. My mother told her that she, of all people, should know not to judge people by their covers. She had almost become part of a very important family. She almost had the role of working with autistic kids, and her husband had asked her to. Was she also going to treat them the way she treated her nephew? My parents felt that she deserved to be dumped. She needed to learn how to treat people better, not just those who have more money. She has blocked me everywhere since the incident and is giving me the silent treatment. I'm doing the same because I will not apologize for protecting my child. The world is already a cruel place to him. He cannot also have that in his own family. Fredrick dodged a very big bullet, and I hope he finds someone worthy of him. Also good news. My son is starting school at the school that Fredrick is on the board of. I'm very excited that finally he'll be at a school where the educators are trained to take care of him, where they'll be able to make sure that he reaches his full potential. He's so excited about it that it's the only thing that he'll talk about. I like seeing the smile on his face, and it lets me know that even though the years have been hard, they've been worth it. I have a healthy son who is kind, inquisitive, and whom I'm able to take care of. And now he'll go to school, and that will make my job easier so that I can also focus on other things. Like my marriage or, heck, even my career. Gloria was a ridiculous human being. I mean, not letting OP's son go because he has autism, that has to be one of the most twisted reasons ever. And can you guys even feel that karma, that ironic little taste of hint of karma when we find out that Fredrick, aka Gloria's fiancé, soon to marry, well, he works with children with autism on the daily, and Gloria still had the nerves to act like this. I would love to hear your thoughts about today's story. I would love to know exactly what you would have done in OP's position when you find out that your sister just lied to you because she doesn't like your kid. All because of something that he has no control over. Ridiculous, absolutely toxic behavior from a family member. Guys, drop your opinions down below. My name's Mr. Reddito, and I narrate stories every day. Dramatic stories, I'm talking bridezillas, inheritance dramas, you name it, we cover it. Cheating stories, HOA disputes, I cover it all. I'll see you guys tomorrow, but do remember, it's cool to be kind. Peace.